And I think, yeah, I want to pull on that thread. I was fortunate enough to join a thought leadership group of school principals, senior teachers, and other leaders, um, and from coming from low socioeconomic background, and it was interesting, hearing one individual profess their ignorance and fear. I don't know what it is, to someone else who's actually circumventing the state restriction on banning AI, because they know that's where the students are doing when they get home. So and to really bring them into that world, and just as with any technology, Gen AI can be used for good or bad, or anywhere in between. And so a lot of the initial reaction was, oh, well, we don't understand it yet. Let's just ban it. And then we don't, then it goes, not that it goes away, but let's study it and figure it out. And
Well,
then,
actually, let me go back to that step, because I want to repack that a little bit, though, because I actually want to make sure this is actually a hill I will die on. I will often defend those who have to do academic or IT decisions at enterprise levels, because they're always the ones who cop the brunt of, AI just came out and Department of Education New South Wales just went, oh, we're banning it. These are actually really important responses, because when you're doing it at enterprise level, when you have tens of thousands, if not more, students under your care, we do need to be at least more aware. Where I won't die on the hill, but what I've been really pleased and grateful to see how Australia has handled it is those bans weren't there to say we're going to, because I think of the quote, I know you're saying it jokingly, but we're going to ban it until it goes away. That actually hasn't been how Australia has dealt with it. It's we're banning it until we get a better understanding of risk, and then we're going to slowly release. Now, this is incredibly irritating for those at the coalface, and I feel for you, and I have been that person who happily circumvents those processes. I'm not here to advocate for that. But the reason I do think it's important to recognize that, when these things are going so fast, let's talk about the most famous example that happened in the first couple of months of ChatGPT. Someone at Samsung decided to upload all this private corporate data into the GPT because they were going to do some really cool evaluation with it, not realizing that the terms and conditions very openly stated that anything shared into here would become part of the model, and that data then suddenly became open. The person at Samsung didn't intentionally choose to make that decision. The ChatGPT wasn't doing that, but no one had quite understood how the tool worked yet. So that's why I just kind of interrupted. So I think it's important that when we have these levels of bureaucracy, that yes, we do ban, but the where things happen for better or for worse is either they ban till it goes away, which we all know there are organizations of that ilk. They are the ones that we try to avoid, but ones that have quickly tried to move to understand. And in Australia, the speed of the Department of Education, even the speed of our universities who are renowned for, I will never name this person, but years ago, I worked for a university here in Sydney. I got pulled into a DVC's office where I was being berated for my job performance, and I was horrified. And I was sat down, and this is the exact words, I kid you not, Julian, there is the speed of universities and the speed of icebergs, and I shouldn't have to tell you which is faster. I was being berated for speed. Now, we don't ever want to get back to those world. But universities who are renowned for not working at speed have done incredible things. And I will highlight University of Sydney, Macquarie University, Hong Kong University, have been doing fantastic things. So yeah, again, I know it's a slight segue, but yeah, I do think it's important that slowing down in this world is critical importance. And as we talk about risks, I want to dive back into that a bit more. But yeah, doing it until it goes away, well, that's a different story altogether, and we'll let those people. Darwinian evolution will take care of itself.
Well said, and that's fantastic clarification there. And I think as you've said, with time now, at least here in Australia, we now have the Australian framework for generative AI in schools. So there's been the thought, the planning, and so a number of the blanket bans have now been loosened. And certainly when we're talking about primary or secondary school children, especially. Privacy and security has to be paramount there.
Absolutely.
So with this evolution, do you think they're getting it right? This balance of access and control and safety. Yeah.
Look, I look to the sky because I don't think there is an answer for that. I think that overall we're being cautious, and I think that is a correct response. As a person who is an AI advocate, anybody who has followed my LinkedIn feed, I apologize for the ongoing onslaught of, oh my God, check out this fantastic tool that you see on my feed. Right. But now, as an advocate and as a high user of these tools, I have been very glad to see the cautious nature of approach. But that being said, that there is good caution, and then there's kind of an overzealous caution. And in some markets overseas, we've seen that. In Australia, I think we have struck a relatively strong balance. Another piece of interesting history, most people don't know this, it was only in the late, I think it was 2003, people who watch this after the fact can Google the exact date, it was only in like early 2000s that Australian law made it legal to record TV onto a VCR. We have had this tool in the 1970s and the 1980s. It was literally only in the 2000s that copyright law caught up. How can legal statute and policy possibly keep up with change? And that's before, the VCR was around for 20 odd years before that finally got, everybody was doing it. No one was being charged, but it didn't change that the law took this long to catch up. The law around AI, how do you have a chance of catching up when the tool is evolving on literally a daily basis? So again, I rambled, but I think that's why caution's important.
Right.
When you're no chance of your law keeping up, and law protects society, right? In theory. But if the laws that protect you can't keep up, then caution is warranted to make sure that, we are doing mitigated risk. And I think that's the word you're going to hear me use a lot. It's not about risk. Every tool has risk. The internet has risk.
Right.
My computer has risk. My dog has risk. But it's all about what's the mitigated risk versus reward. And I think we're doing that well in this country at the moment.
Right. And so with that context, how should an institution be it a school or university or RTO, some other provider? How should they approach AI?
All right. Look, again, the old adage is true, is that there is no right answer to this question, but there are many wrong ones. So let's talk about the wrong ones first. Now, it's a weird way of positioning it, but it's true. So here's the wrong way to look at it. The wrong way to look at it is go, oh, wow, I found this website. There's an AI for that, which, by the way, awesome website. Check it out. And every day is telling me 15 new tools that I can check out. So I'm going to go and load all of these tools and play with all of them. Do not go down that rabbit hole of, I have just walked into a Bunnings of AI and I'm going to go down every aisle and just buy everything and see what's going to happen.
Right.
You joke that way, it makes it obvious why that's a bad methodology. You don't quite know what you're playing with. You don't know what you're trying to solve. You're getting caught by the shiny. You're being caught by a marketing message, and you don't understand risk. That's why just grabbing random tools, I would never advocate. The good way of doing it is think about the problems that you're trying to solve first. What is a problem that you have that an AI could potentially help you solve? Oh, I really want to take this resource and differentiate it because I've got 3 students who have various neurodiversity needs and need things explained in different ways. I don't normally have time to rewrite this resource in 3 different ways. Maybe that's something that an AI could help me with. I really want to go multimodal. I want to be able to take my written form because I'm not good at speaking, which is obviously not me. I'm saying this as if I was somebody else. Where speaking is my weakness. No, but not everybody does. So, wait a second. There are AIs that can take the written word and turn it into now a human sounding voice. Maybe that's a problem that you can solve. Please always focus on what is the challenge that you are trying to solve. Out of that, okay, great. What are some AI tools that may be able to help you? And that's where you start your exploration. The last thing is that you don't have to be the first. Being the first is a skill set that not everybody has. Being the first is someone who's going to be the first is someone who is actually able to take their passion for what they're doing, but to also put that aside and to critically think about risk. What is the pro and con of this? And if that is you listening to this, awesome. Please be that person, but then share. And that's where we start this conversation. If you are not that person who's good at being the first, and you recognize that you get caught up in that shiny thing, which again, not a criticism, like that is an awesome thing that you get passionate and you want to explore. But then go to your networks, find the networks where you can then go, all right, I found this really cool thing. I think this really solved my problem. Can you help me verify that this is not going to have issues?